Okay, great. I am John Ransom, the Great and Powerful. This is Ransom Notes powered by Town Hall Finance and Ransom Notes TV. Pleased as always to have David Williams from PageTrader.com and Williams Edge join us right now. David, we spent a lot of time talking about the S&P 500, but there are other markets out there that show even more volatility than the regular old stock market. Let's talk a little bit about some of those.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, John. Today, and in many days, I mean, recently the markets have been so big across the board. You know, the S&P and the currencies in particular, crude oil. We have our, we can pick from these markets which market we want to trade that has big volatility. One of them that we recently just forecast a 100 pip move in, and I want to describe what that means. In many day trading and smaller types of system methodologies, they're going for a few pips, which is a few ticks in the market to try to make a small amount of money. Some of them may go for 5 or 8 pips. They may go for 10 or 12 or something like that. We routinely, our trades are routinely 100 pips or even more. And so, or 80, something like that, many orders of magnitude larger, and yet we're forecasting those moves to happen in a very short period of time. One great example would be this euro trade that you're seeing here on the left side of the screen. On Monday, September 7th, we bought the euro at 111.70, forecasting it to go up to 112.70 to 112.85, and to do so into Wednesday plus or minus a day of this week. And you can see, of this week, and you can see that today, you can see the big move up here, and today we made a high in the euro of 113.13, which certainly satisfies the 112.85 upside target, and that completes a 100 plus pip move in the euro for our clients. 100 pips is worth about, I think, $1,250 on a single contract that somebody would buy. So a single contract would result in $1,250 worth of profit. If you had more than one, depending on how you trade and scale in and scale out and so on, it would be worth more than that to you. So the euro, John, is one such market that we certainly look to, the euro and the dollar, and we're constantly looking at these markets to give highly specific forecasts to our followers. This particular forecast told our followers where to buy the euro and what day of this week, plus or minus a day, the euro would complete the 100 pip target. That's a lot of information for a person to have in advance, knowing exactly what the market is intended to do. And indeed, that is exactly what happened. The market did go up from where we bought it. It did spike a little bit below us, and we do use protective stops, and we were not stopped out, and the market today has completed the 100 pip move, and this is the 1 day late. It was due on Wednesday. We were looking for it to complete Wednesday plus or minus a day, and so today is the 1 day late. So we're really happy to be able to offer that type of accuracy, repeatability, and accuracy to our clients.
Well, as you've demonstrated time and time again, it's not just the general movement that you're talking about. You're providing them with very specific information about when something is going to happen, what price level it's going to happen at, and what price level it's going to move to.
Yeah, that's our specialty, and we have professionals all over the world that have said to us, we've never seen anything like this in 20, 30, 40 years of being in the market, and we're very happy that we can offer that kind of direct, repeatable forecast and trade for people who are really trying their very best to put the markets together and to really put their money to work in something like a market rather than a really long-term investment, like, as an example, real estate, which is a great investment, but shorter-term investments that you might only be in the market for several hours or maybe a couple of days. Something like that is what we specialize in, and we've had tremendous success doing this, and I really want to invite some of your listeners, John, to come check us out at pagetrader.com, PAGETRADER, and take a 2-week free trial and let us demonstrate for you over and over again. And at the end of your trial, you'll get a report from us that shows everything that we told you would happen in all these individual markets and everything that subsequently happened in those markets. So you really have a nice record of what it is that what you saw us do, and it'll help you make a decision if this is something that's really going to be powerful for you.
Folks, don't just see, believe. Get all the information that you need for the next market movement advance. Go ahead and go to pagetrader.com. Sign up for that free trial. That's pagetrader.com. And David Williams, Williams Edge, 888-231-4702, 888-231-4702. We will check in with you tomorrow. Thanks so much, David.
Thank you very much, John, for having us on. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having an interesting day as much as we are. We haven't been. Today has been, every time a rollover comes, it's a big day for us because we use a lot of charts in our work, and we have a lot of things we have to update. And so it's a big pain in the behind, to have to go do this. But we do, and we did roll today in the S&P, and sometimes we'll see somewhat unusual behavior on the rollover day. It really hasn't been bad today. This has been a pretty normal day with one exception, and it hasn't been terrible. We originally felt that the S&P would come down, would fail at 1945, and then come down and test 27 on the new December contract. But we warned people as the market did pull back and start getting to the low 30s, but they were able to come back up to the 45 level, and we warned people early this morning in our meeting that if they get above the 45 level, that they would run right up to 54. And if you take a look at today's S&P, in fact, I'll switch this chart, which is over on the right here. I'll pull this out. Let's switch this over to the December contract and remove these. You can see that we did run up to 55.50. And so basically our forecast, and we'll have a chart put up later for this, was that if they broke above 45, they would run to 54 to 55. So here's the 45 level right here, and they did break above that, and they did run up to 1955.50. So they're reacting off that level now. So there is a little gain possible in here. I think you would probably not have been in this trade probably till maybe 48 to be reasonable. And then you have a 48 up to maybe 53 or 54, just to be sure you get get out before any twist and turn happens. So, a 5 or 6 point trade was what that was. On the individual contract basis is worth $300. So the market's not acting unusual. It's just a little different today, but not terribly, not unmanageably. So we're happy to see that. We also have with us today, if he's able to speak, we have Jerry Fagnant from Page Trader. Jerry is a 30-year veteran of the markets. He's traded very heavily, frighteningly heavily in some cases, in the crude oil and S&P markets. He has been a client of ours for 8 years, and he's been an employee of ours now, helping our customers to put our forecast together so that as opposed to them just looking at the market run to a number, they're really getting the kind of help that only a real, true trader can give. There's a real difference between somebody who hasn't done it but knows about it and somebody who actually has done it and therefore knows about it. There's no fooling around with that. And Jerry's the real deal. So Jerry, are you with us today?
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm good.
A little bit of a voice. Got a
little bit of a voice left. He's been doing a lot of talking. Why don't you, we won't ask too much from you here, but do you have anything you want to add to today's completion of the 54, 55, and so on that we talked about in the morning meeting? Or anything that you'd like?
No, just, for any, for those that are listening, just, a reminder day, kind of, as I was texting a couple of guys a little bit just a few moments ago and said, this is a good teaching day from the perspective of understand that there is what we expect out of the roadmap and then the opposing side, the opposing level in that roadmap, and it's always wise to know what that opposing level is, and when we cross that line where we're going to move to that opposing level, and the importance of the stop. Because not only does that stop, protect us from losing money we don't want to lose, but it also really tells us that the market is going to do the opposing level. and
Yeah.
so to embrace that. So
Yeah,
just,
and go ahead. I'm sorry, Jim.
no, I was just going to say it's just that a perfect classic example of, for me, not only was my stop a stop, but it was a place where everybody should have said, well, we're clearly going in the other direction, and I've got to find an entry to be on the long side.
Yeah. The whenever I hear the word stop, because it's such a big subject, you have to take responsibility for your trade. And if you don't have a stop in, you are escaping the responsibility of that trade. You want to win, but you don't want to lose. Well, nobody's asking you to want to lose. But what you need to do is be responsible for a potential loss. And if you don't use a trade, you're not being responsible for the potential loss. You're just living in hope. And when the market moves through your number and goes down and you're not using a stop, it often will come back and let you out of the market. And if you're wise, you'll get out. But in many cases, it won't let you out, and it becomes a really, really a big problem. And you end up holding on to losing positions. And you're really not, you can really take the highest level, most sophisticated and most perhaps, imagine the best, very best, system in the world of trading. You can take that and destroy it by simply not using a stop, because no method's going to be 100% accurate. At some point, it's going to be wrong, and we just want to keep the wrong reasonable. Reasonable wrong is no harm. It's the unreasonable wrong that no one goes broke making money in the market. They go broke losing money. That's how they get kicked out of the market. So it's the losing side. I mean, it's axiomatic, obviously, but it's the losing side that we have to manage, along with the profit taking and so on the way up. This euro trade over here, we almost got stopped out of this euro trade yesterday. This big spike down, this euro goes all over the map, almost got us within 10 ticks, and fortunately we were able to stay in it for the move up today. We felt that the market was very likely after yesterday's spike down to have a bigger and better move today, and they did. They had a very nice move up, but you have to be there. And if they stopped us out, we would have said, great, that's us managing the downside. If you can learn to do that, you have a real shot at being a successful trader. But please don't fool yourself, anyone. And this goes for the highest pros. I would say it to name your favorite great futures trader, and you would say it as well. You better use a stop, because if you don't, you won't be in the game at some point. You will get wiped out. It's just the nature of the market. It's the nature of human psychology. You're already a cripple if you don't use a stop in the market. You're already limping if you don't use a protective stop. You're already in trouble if you've decided not to use one before you even put a trade on. You already have trouble. It's you. That's the trouble. So once you get to the point where you agree that you're going to take responsibility for the downside, you've solved a really big problem that a lot of people haven't solved yet. And then you just live with that as part of the reality. You take responsibility every day in your car. You drive. You realize that an accident could happen. You do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen. You have brakes in your car to make sure that you don't run into the back of somebody else. You're living your day in every other way using protective stops in all kinds of other areas of your life. But when it comes to the market, if you're not using one, you're just playing with yourself. You're just fooling yourself. And I've never met a really successful trader who's busy fooling himself. That hasn't happened to me yet. I've met a lot of traders who aren't successful, who are busy fooling themselves, but not successful ones. So if you can get over that, you've got a really good shot at doing well, especially with the kinds of forecasting that we're doing here, which is highly specific, highly directional. There's very little generality about it. And this week, I know, Jerry, you can't speak, but I want to say Jerry helped a number of traders make anywhere from 20 points in the recent move up in the S&P, yesterday's big move up or the day before, all the way up to 50 plus points in their trades. So just helping traders move stops, keeping them in the move, because people who are accustomed to perhaps trading for smaller amounts of money get very, very antsy when the market goes in their favor, more than what they're usually accustomed to taking out of the market. it really does become an issue where somebody, helping them makes a big difference. So we offer that here as well. I want to see if, Jerry, I want to see if there's any questions we have here from anyone, and then we'll let everyone go. But Ed is with us here. Ed, David, any indication for afternoon decline in the S&P? Not right now. We're going to go back to the working of it. We did the roll this morning, and so a lot of our time was, concentrated on rolling dozens of charts. We're past that now, and I'm going to be able to take a look at it. But I'm very interested in what they did, and I'm delighted that they completed the 54-55 that we mentioned on the radio program a few minutes back as well. And we'll see if we can come up with something. If you want, you can give us a call and get into the S&P program. We have a product that is as inexpensive as $1.99 a month. And I just want to make it clear that there is no other way, no matter what you pay, as far as we know, for you to get the information that we're giving out for $1.99. You could pay $10,000 a month and not get that information. Like the information we gave out the other day that if the market closed above $1,910, that it would go up from there to $1,982 and touch $1,982 on Wednesday, September 9th, and give you that information on Thursday, September 3rd. There's no way you could get that information no matter what you paid, but you could have gotten that information for $199 a month off of our messenger product. So seriously, take a look at this and see if it's something. We made it as easy as possible for people to do that. And I want you to know, in all honesty, if you take that product, at some point you're going to hear from us in enticing you to take a look at some of the other futures markets as well, because there's also very large gains like in the euro and other markets that you could really start taking this seriously and really make something of this. And that's what we're trying to do. If you're interested in making a couple $100, this is not for you. This is not for you. If you're interested in making $100 a day or $200 a day or some nonsense like that, this has no relationship to that. What we're interested in doing is having a group of traders take exquisitely high-level trading information and really, in their own way, with their own vision, their own life vision, getting wealthy on these trades. That's what we're interested in doing. We're not interested in making $100 a day or trying to make a paycheck. We're trying to repeat until wealthy with this information. And if you're interested in doing that, then you'll rise to the occasion inwardly and you'll say, this is bigger than $100 a day, what we're doing here. And for you, it's going to be bigger than that. And you have to step up to that. Some people, it's actually, you've heard the phrase, some people can't handle success. Well, if you come over here, you'll find out quickly, and we'll help you. Jerry will definitely help you to learn to handle success, because that's what you're going to need in order to be able to deal with some of these gains where seriously, the gains can be thousands of dollars per contract, and for you to stay with that trade and to not cower away from that and be able to successfully trade with your protective stop and so on is really where you want to be. If that's where you want to be, that's what we're offering. And I think you'll find that that's really where you want to be. And so check it out. You can get a hold of us at 888-231-4702. You can also call Jerry Fagnan when he's capable of speaking, which is still today. You can get his last moments as a speaking human being if you'll call him today. Get his last breath today. If that's what you're interested in, you can give him a call at 702-334-1503. And one last thing I want to say, I know I've been going on. All of us at PageTrader, everyone you'll speak to, has had millions of dollars in the market at one point. I have, Jerry has, we've all traded in real market situations, not for little tiny ticks and scalping, but big positions, scary stuff, unfortunately, and because we didn't know better at the time, and so on. We have been through that. And only those that have been through that can really talk to you from a level that is useful to you. Everyone else is a pretender. If they haven't been through that kind of experience for years and years and years and years, they're not going to be as much value to you. So I'm saying boldly to you that there's a lot of experience at PageTrader to help you make it work for yourself, as opposed to just listening to pablum. We know what we're talking about, and you will rise to the occasion under these kinds of conditions, and I think you should check it out for yourself. Do so. Give us a call, 888-231-4702. Check out what we're doing, and if it isn't for you, fair enough. But if it is, what a nice difference that could make in your life and your family's life and so on. Jerry, I want to thank you for coming on, and I know you're saving your voice, and I want to thank all of you for spending some time with us today. We're here every day with John Ransom, so come back tomorrow for Friday edition of the John Ransom program. We'll see you here then. Thanks again. See ya.